Most people learn this at primary school and then forgot all about it, but you need it for your GCSEs, so you better watch up because there's a tricky thing right at the end that I want to clarify for you. This is all about feeding relationships, and these are really fundamental to understanding how organisms and the environment and ecosystems are organized together. Now, it describes the flow of energy and biomass between different organisms within that ecosystem. There's a few key words we need to brush up on first. That is, firstly, we have our producer. Now, the producer is the start of the food chain or food web. The producer is something that photosynthesizes. It uses the light energy from the sun in order to convert the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere into carbon-containing molecules that are used within its biomass. So, for example, grass. After the producer, we have the consumers. They consume other organisms. The first one is our primary consumer. Now, the primary consumer eats the producer, and the secondary consumer is going to eat the primary consumer. Now, some food chains might have a tertiary consumer or even a quaternary consumer, but at the end of the video I'm going to explain why very, very rarely you might find a fifth level to that food chain. So these primary consumers and these secondary consumers, we might also call them other names. The fox would be an example of a predator, an animal that eats and hunts another animal. The rabbit is an example of prey. Some other keywords would be that the rabbit is a herbivore, it only eats plants, and that the fox is a carnivore, it only eats animals. The mouse here, for example, this would be an omnivore. It eats the plants and it eats other animals too. So looking at this food chain, what do the arrows represent? Well, the arrows represent the flow of energy between the different levels. We call these levels trophic levels, by the way. Now, the energy flow is in the form of the biomass that the animals are consuming. So the rabbit eats some of the grass, and the biological molecules that the grass is made of gets transferred to the rabbit, and then from the rabbit to the fox. The energy stored within those biological molecules, the organisms are able to use to produce their own biological molecules and their own biomass and grow bigger and bigger. That's why we need to eat things, isn't it? All right, now the food chain here is pretty simplistic. It doesn't really represent the reality of a complex ecosystem. To do that, we might want to look at something like a food web. We still have the same levels. The grass is the producer. The blue, the rabbit, the beetle, the ladybird would all be examples of primary